So one of the questions I most often get asked on Instagram is, what camera do you shoot with? So at the moment, I'm currently using the Canon 5D... Hey Remy, what have you done with Dad's camera? Hey guys, Julian Lalo here, and welcome back to my channel. So one of the questions I most frequently get asked on Instagram is what I shoot with, what lens I use, and what camera can you recommend to a beginner? And I'm probably not the most qualified in terms of recommending cameras. I'm not the most techie sort of photographer. I just know what I like to use and what works for me. So with that being said, I'm going to run through what I use day to day and what's in my camera bag to start off 2020. So to start with, the camera bag. Over the years, I've tried quite a few different bags and I've finally got it sort of nailed down to two different bags that I use. The first one is the newer, that's NEEWER, the newer roller bag. This one here is the bag that I use when I'm on a job where I need multiple bodies, multiple lenses, carry a computer with me. It just saves my back. So basically, inside, set out like most camera backpacks. It's going to provide some great audio. Inside set out like most camera backpacks, but the beauty is it's got these little roller wheels, pull out handle, and like I said, it just saves my back rather than lugging around multiple bodies and lenses in a backpack. When I do need to move around a little bit more though, and I'm not carrying as much equipment, this is the bag that has got me through the last probably 3 or 4 years. It's indestructible. It's the in-case DSLR Pro. Again, can open up through the back and you can reconfigure that any way you like. It's got a top pocket there for quick access to the camera and fits a computer, a laptop in the front. So that's the bag that I use for pretty much every day. Onto my cameras. I run with two bodies. The one that I'm currently filming this on right now is the Canon EOS R. The EOS R is the body that I use for most of my food photography and videography. The reason I prefer it for the food photography is I really enjoy the live view through the viewfinder. The colors and the depth that you can see through the viewfinder is just, for me, it's preferable when I'm shooting food. It's also probably got some better frame rates than the 5D Mark IV and handles the low light a little bit better than the 5D4 when it comes to video. Sitting on top of the EOS R right now, I've got the Rode Video Mic Micro. It's the entry-level video mic, which I thought I'd start off with when just getting into video. It seems to be doing the job right now, but eventually I'll probably move to the Video Mic Pro. And in terms of lens, on there right now is the Canon L series 24-70 2.8. It's the lens that pretty much lives on my cameras, and I use it for everything. I use it for everything from my food to travel to fashion. I find the 24 is wide enough for most landscape situations, and then zoom into that 70 if you want some nice compression, taking portraits. Moving on from the EOS R is the workhorse, my 5D4. Currently got a battery grip on it. The battery grip isn't something I use for the longer battery life, more than it is so that I can shoot either orientation, landscape or portrait, and have the controls at the top right hand corner of the camera. I often get asked what these little guys hanging off the camera are. These are part of the camera strap that I use. It's the Peak Designs Slide Light, and the reason I love this strap is because you can click it on and off nice and easily. It's also really adjustable, just with that little clip and slide. So that's the Peak Designs Slide Light. Moving on from the body through the lenses that I'm starting off with in 2020. Next lens that I probably use most frequently is the Canon L series 70-200 2.8 Mark III. It is heavy, so it's one of those things that I generally only really take with me when I know I'm going to need it. Similar to the next lens that I'm going to show you guys, which is the 16-35. I don't not take it with me because of the weight. It's more just something I take with me when I know I'm going to use it. I'm all about carrying a light camera bag and saving my back, so it's one of those things when I know that I'm going to go somewhere, like on my last vlog about the warehouse in Kawasaki. I knew that it was going to be a lot of tight spaces shooting indoors, and I was going to need something a little bit wider than the 24, so this is what I shot that vlog with. So again, like the 70-200, it's something I generally only put in my bag when I know I'm going to need it specifically, but it does come in handy. 50mm 1.2, the Canon L series again. This lens is super sharp. When I first got this lens, I was absolutely obsessed with it. It was, to me, what the 24-70 is now. It was always on my camera. I know I was shooting everything with it. Shooting street, shooting fashion, portrait, or with this lens. I don't use it as much as I used to, but great to have in the bag. So that pretty much sums up camera and lenses. Moving on to drone, the first DJI Mavic Pro. Been thinking about an update, but I've been finding that as I'm doing more and more commercial work and having less time to go out and just shoot personal and Instagram type content, I'm using my drone less and less. So it's not something that's going to get an immediate upgrade. Eventually the Mavic Pro 2 with the 1-inch sensor is what I've got my eye on. But for the moment, this has been doing the trick nicely. With the drone, I carry some sandmark filters, generally only use the polarizing filter. It's great when shooting with water, it helps cut down that glare a little bit. I don't really use the NDs that much, although now that I am getting into a little bit more video, they may start to come in handy when trying to keep frame rates. Something I picked up last year, haven't used it a lot. I ran a couple of rolls through it, of film through it when traveling last year, but definitely something I want to use more of this year and hopefully soon do a vlog on film photography, is the little Canon AF35ML. I think this camera is circa 1982. I picked it up online from a secondhand store in Tokyo. The results I've got with it are great. It's sort of it's fun seeing something a little bit different and experiencing the different color profiles of different films. It's also really nice to have something to look forward to when you drop that roll of film off, wait for it to come back and see the result. Often the time between taking the photos and getting the film back, you've almost forgotten what you've shot, and it's a really nice surprise. GoPro, picked this up for a surf trip I did late last year in Indonesia. It'll probably come in a little bit more handy now with the vlogging, using it to shoot B-roll, getting into some tighter places, and when I don't want to carry the EOS R around on a Gorilla Pod. So that's the Hero 7 Black. That kind of wraps up most of the main hardware in my camera bag. But some of the essentials that I always carry with me, a little bit more boring maybe, but I need them all the same. Little Samsung SSD T5. This is just a 250 gig, 256 gig portable hard drive. It's solid state, so I feel a little bit safer. I have had a hard drive crash in the past. Cost me a lot of money to retrieve what I could, and still ended up losing a good 5,000 files. So this is great. This is great for travel because it's so small and light, and it's a little bit more durable. Carry it with me when I travel, dump all my images at the end of the day onto this drive. It's also really fast to work from when you're working off-site. So that's my little SSD. At home, I back everything else up on the Lacy rugged drives. Of course, little card wallet, hard case, keep my cards in. Multi-tool for tightening those tripod bolts and Actually, that's one thing I haven't mentioned. Tripod. My camera is currently sitting on a Mi Photo tripod. Tripod's not something I carry with me a lot. And I've also got a Gorilla Pod. And of course, notepad. Notepad keeps me organized. And also you never know when you're gonna have that next idea that you need to write down. So that's it for what's in my bag to start off 2020. If you wanna know any more about the kit that I'm using or wanna know where you can buy it from, let me know in the comments and I can drop you those links. Thank you for hitting play.